Good morning. We've just gotten our hands on a new court document that sheds more light on the next steps in the battle between the OFA and the FDA over compounded Tirzepatide. You'll want to stick around if you're wondering what this could mean for your access to these medications. Welcome back to the Downsized. I'm Christopher Durham, and today we've got an update on the ongoing legal battle between the Outsourcing Facilities Association, or the OFA, and the FDA over compounded Tirzepatide. But before we continue, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss any of our updates on GLP-1 medications and our weight loss adventure. Remember, I'm not a doctor or a lawyer. I do share the latest information and my own experiences, so please always consult a professional for medical or legal advice. We've got a brand new court document that sheds a little more light on the course of the case, and it lays out what could happen next for compounded Tirzepatide. Stick around because this could mean significant changes are on the horizon for those of us who rely on these critical medications. For those of you who are new here, my wife Lorraine and I have been using GLP-1 medications since September 23rd, 2023, starting with compounded Tirzepatide before transitioning to Mounjaro and Zepbound. So I've been on all three and eventually came back to compounded Tirzepatide due to cost and shortages. Throughout this time, I've lost 80 pounds, and my wife Lorraine has also been on the adventure, losing 50 pounds herself. Together, we've seen how these medications can be a game changer for those of us battling the disease of obesity. If you've been following this case with us, the OFA has been challenging the FDA's decision to remove Tirzepatide, Mounjaro, and Zepbound from the FDA shortage list. We've published several videos on this case. In their initial filing, the OFA outlined three main points. Number one, the importance of compounded versions. The OFA argues that removing Tirzepatide from the FDA shortage list severely limits access to compounded versions of the medication. This decision can affect patients who cannot access or afford the branded versions like Mounjaro and Zepbound, making compounded options essential for continuity of care. Number two, regulatory overreach concerns. The OFA contends that the FDA's decision to remove these drugs from the shortage list constitutes regulatory overreach, impacting the ability of compounding pharmacies to meet patient needs. They claim the FDA's actions undermine patient choice and access to the essential medications. And number three, there are public health implications. According to the OFA, this case has broader public health implications. They argue that restricting access to compounded medications during a time of high demand can negatively affect many patients, particularly those with limited financial resources who are struggling to access effective obesity treatments. This case is critical because it could directly impact how accessible these treatments remain for many people, making it a major point of interest in the GLP-1 community. Late yesterday, October 8th, 2024, Judge Mark T. Pittman issued an order in response to the OFA's emergency motion for a temporary restraining order. Here's the text of the court's order. It's case number 424CV00953P. It's document 10. It was filed on 10/8/24, and it's page 1 of 1. It starts, the United States District Court for the Northern District of Texas, Fort Worth Division, Outsourcing Facilities Association et al., plaintiffs, United States Food and Drug Administration et al., defendants. The order says, before the court is plaintiff's emergency motion for a temporary restraining order, ECF number 7. Having reviewed the motion, the court finds it appropriate to order expediting briefing in this matter. Therefore, it is ordered that defendant's response is due on or before Friday, October 11th, 2024, and plaintiff's reply is due on or before Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. It is further ordered that plaintiffs shall transmit a copy of this order to defendants this very day. So ordered on this 8th day of October, 2024. This means that we could see a decision on this temporary restraining order which might impact the FDA's actions regarding compounding Tirzepatide very soon. Let's talk about the judge overseeing the case. Judge Mark T. Pittman was born in 1975 as a United States District Court judge for the Northern District of Texas. He was appointed by Donald Trump in 2019. Before his federal role, he served on Texas's Second Court of Appeals and the 352nd Judicial District Court. Judge Pittman has a robust background in litigation, including time with the U.S. Department of Justice and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. He's no stranger to cases involving federal agencies like the FDA. Notably, in 2022, he ordered the FDA to speed up the release of data related to the COVID-19 vaccine, reflecting his commitment to transparency and public access to regulatory information. So why does it matter who the judge is in this case? Judge Pittman's background and previous rulings give us insight into how he might handle a case like this. His history of challenging federal agencies, including the FDA, and prioritizing transparency could influence how he views the arguments from both the OFA and the FDA. In cases like this, a judge's perspective on regulatory overreach or patient access to important medication could shape the outcome. This makes Judge Pittman's decisions and approaches particularly important for those of us watching how this case might impact our access to compounded Tirzepatide and other GLP-1s. For users of compounded Tirzepatide, this case could be a turning point. Suppose the OFA is successful in its challenge. In that case, it might lead to greater access to compounded versions of Tirzepatide, providing an alternative for those who struggle with the cost or availability of branded medications from Eli Lilly, Mounjaro, and Zepbound. On the other hand, if the FDA's actions are upheld, it could mean further restrictions on compounded options, limiting choices for many patients. We'll keep you updated as new developments unfold, and we're all hoping for an outcome that keeps these vital treatment options accessible. If you haven't already, please take a moment to like and subscribe, and please make sure to join us Thursday night at 7, where we do our the Downsized Live. We have conversations, we answer questions, we basically talk to the Downsized community, the GLP-1 community, for an hour and a half, so please make sure you join us because I'm sure all of this will come up. I'm Christopher Durham, and we are the Downsized.